This is my second parrot joke, and it was given to me on an email from a friend of mine, but I'm going to make it shorter. This widower, a nice old Jewish religious man, is walking down the street, in Delancey Street in the Lower East Side, in the days when there was a large Jewish population there. And he goes by a pet shop, and from the pet shop he hears a parrot that says to him, "Nu, was machst du?" Parrot speaking to him in Yiddish. He goes inside and the parrot says, "Nu, was machst du? How are you?" He says, "This is amazing." He says to the pet store owner, "What is this?" He said, "This parrot was raised in a Jewish house. He speaks nothing but Yiddish. He's also learned a few phrases in Hebrew, but he mostly speaks Yiddish. Do you want this bird?" He says, "This would be something. I'm all alone now. How much you want for him?" And the man names a huge price. But the widower is a wealthy man. And he says, "Whatever the price is, I'll pay it." And he takes the bird home, and he puts it on a perch, and he chats with it in Yiddish. And they break a couple of walnuts together, and they chat and they chat. He tells about his late wife, Sadie, and how wonderful she was. And then he goes to sleep, and the bird tells him how it was lonely in the pet shop on weekends. And they go to sleep, they rest. The next morning, he is a religious man. He puts on his yarmulke. He puts on his talis, his prayer shawl. And he starts to daven, to pray. And he davens, of course, in Hebrew. And the bird says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm davening, I'm praying." And the bird says, "Teach me how. And what is that funny hat you're wearing?" He said, "This is my yarmulke." He says, "Would you make me one?" "Okay. Would you make me one of those shawls?" "All right." So he teaches the bird how to pray in Hebrew. And the bird is an adept student and learns to pray, and he learns to even sing the Hebrew songs and the very important prayers for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the important holidays. And the man has found himself a companion who speaks Yiddish and prays in Hebrew. He goes out and has him made a little yarmulke, tiny little for the bird, and a prayer shawl. And it is approaching the High Holy Season. Rosh Hashanah is an important day, the New Year, the Jewish New Year, and then a week later, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And he says to himself, maybe I could take this bird to the shul, and they could allow him in, and we could pray. And so he goes down to see the rabbi. And the rabbi says, "A bird in the synagogue?" He says, "Listen, believe me, this is not a bird. This is like a companion to me. This bird can pray in Yiddish, in Hebrew, and speaks Yiddish. You'll be glad. I'll have him on my shoulder. He'll be inconspicuous. He'll have a yarmulke. He'll have a talis." Come on, no bird could do that. They start making bets with him. And pretty soon all the other members of the congregation get together and say, "Nah, it can't happen." And they, "How much you want to bet?" So he bets and he bets and he bets, and he gets himself into $4,000 worth of obligations. And then he goes home, and he tells the bird, and he picks him up on his shoulder, and they go down for Rosh Hashanah. And they go into the synagogue, and the bird is dressed with a yarmulke and a talis. And they start to pray. The man starts to pray. The bird says nothing. And the man says, "Come on, start davening." Nothing from the bird, nothing. And he keeps praying through the entire service, and the bird, nothing, not a peep. Well, at the end of the service, he realizes he's lost his bet, his various bets for the tune of $4,000, and he's walking away from the synagogue. And the bird is on his shoulder, and the bird says nothing, and he goes about 4 blocks away, and he says to the bird, "How could you humiliate me, Liz? How could you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? You know how you can daven. Why didn't you daven?" The bird says, "Don't be a schmuck. Don't be a schmuck. Walk. Don't be a schmuck." He says, "Think of the betting odds on Yom Kippur."